Alright everybody, welcome back. My name's Iejir, and I'm about to continue on with some of the things to do in the first turn. Here we go at our wonderful planet of Zune, and we have 4 fleets. Everything in this game is either fleet-based, system-based, or planet-based. Oh, everything we're going to be doing now is fleet-based. We start off, as the Iejir in most, except for the Hiver, as far as I know, start out with 2 survey fleets, a construction fleet, and a colonization fleet. Now, you can have these fleets do multiple different things. This is just what they're meant to do to give you a quick start. Start a command ship, which you need for any fleet at all. You need some kind of a CNC ship. Supply ships increase your endurance, which, determines how far away you can go. Remember that inside your own supply range, you only use half the endurance during that period. The speed is, for the Iejir, it's a little funny, but that's kind of pretty much how fast your FTL goes. The Hivers actually start out with less than 1. And list your destination. Here's the current admiral, the mission, name of the fleet, who owns the fleet, and the names of the ship class. Now, if you open it up, you can see the actual, name of the ship itself, and it gives you a quick rundown of the different things dealing, about it. And for instance, this one has a hammerhead command section, a strike force CNC, and a stellar warp engine. Most of your ships are going to have 3 sections with a few are going to have 3 sections with a few exceptions. You can also on this screen see the state of its armor, crew, energy, supply, how long you've had it, which, turn 1, everything's going to be at 0, and how much upkeep you're paying on it every turn. Anything in your reserve fleet is going to be at 1/3 cost, but it is also not doing anything. Well, on this one, you can either, by the way, to move around on the mouse, you left click to zoom in, middle click will center it, and right click will, number 1, show you a distance, and give you the option to pick a mission. Now, you see many of these missions, many of these are grayed out. However, right now, we want to survey, let's see. Ugh. None of these planets really are that nice. Oh, here we go. Here's a planet with or a system with 3 planets in it. Let's go survey. Basically going to tell a fleet to go look at it, and then we get to choose a fleet. I'm going to send this fleet since it seems to be that's what it's designed for. You also get, more description on the admiral, including where he's currently based. The total mission time it'll take, that is there and back. Here's the travel time, split up. A couple of the races with interesting FTLs, that number might be a little wonky. And here's how long it'll take to actually do the mission. And since he's a Pathfinder, it reduces the time to do the survey mission. Each of your admirals does get, a trait, whether good or bad. And, surveys are also dependent on how many fleets you have, or how many ships you have in the fleet. Drones count as extra ships. And how much it'll cost to do this mission, mostly for construction. You can also rebase your fleet, when it gets done with the mission. In fact, I'm actually going to do that until it's going to be based at Adara. And then done rebase. And here's a listing of the planet I have selected for the mission, and a basic overview of the system, and then just confirm and exit.
Search the system carefully.
Now he'll go there, look at that planet, and come back. Go to Adara for resupply. Second, I want to survey another fleet because, I have to expand. We're pacifistic, and we need more planets before somebody else grabs them. So I'm just gonna, I guess we'll slow down and go over that a little more slowly. You can also right-click on a fleet, and that'll open up different options for it. You can rename the fleet, dissolve it, which basically moves it back into the reserves. Cancel the mission, but they're not on one. Survey goes in and finds out what it is. Relocate just does exactly what it says it does. It actually takes your fleet and says it's going to base there. Patrol will sit there and patrol a certain system until it runs out of endurance. If you try to patrol a system that it's currently based on, it'll patrol indefinitely. Now, the neat thing about patrol is if somebody attacks, well, you have a fleet there to defend it. Strike will sit there and for 1 turn attack another system, usually used for enemy colonies, pirate bases, and other interesting things. However, I'm going to send the survey fleet out to survey. Doing it this way, I get a list of planets that are within the range. And I already have one going to Xanthu. Or let's see, is there any good planets nearby? Mostly I'm looking for one with multiple planets, that way there's more chances for me to actually colonize. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And you actually can use the different camera controls. I'm actually going to send it to Desadi. It has a gas giant, an asteroid belt, and a planet. I'm going to, I tend to try to send my survey fleets in different directions, that way they can cover more ground. And then just confirm. Iejir have 2 more fleets. Got a construction fleet and a colonization fleet. Well, the colonization fleet, I'm actually going to tell to go over here. By the way, you can colonize, evacuate. Both these you need a colony ship for. They both do what they sound like. One, you're landing on a planet. The other, you're taking people away from a planet. Relocate or patrols, same thing. Build station is going to be something, you deal with a construction ship, you can build those stations. That's what I was talking about. Battle manager is where you can basically set up your automatic defenses. And we'll get to that when we get more defenses. I am actually going to tell the colonization fleet to rebase here. So it can, won't have to go so far to actually colonize other things. By the way, you'll notice that colonization fleet has a green thumb, which increases terraforming. Which is very nice. It lowers that climate hazard, makes, colonization much cheaper. Now the last one we have is a construction fleet, and I'm actually going to tell him to build a station here. And actually it's got 2 slots, but it's got more planets so it can grow and possibly get more. Generally, if it has 2 slots, I like using it for naval and civilian to increase my trade and income. But this one's, I also like science stations, and you can see now it's going to take 7 turns to get there, or total, 6 turns there and back, so 3 one way or the other, and 1 turn to build it. This admiral is actually an architect, so he'll actually build it faster. I'm not going to worry about rebasing it, because I actually like keeping my first construction fleet in with the home system. Now I can actually choose to place the station, and it'll open up the system view, and I can actually place it in one of 4 spots. Each planet can have 4 stations around it. Usually not a problem unless, except for like the hivers when they get their gate stations. That's a 5th station they can place in a system. Then they have to but they can put the gate system by a planet where it can be defended by the planetary missiles. I'm actually going to put come on. Drag and drop. I'm going to put it there. Why? I don't know. I kind of like it. Then I'm going to commit the orders, tell it to go build. And he's going to sit there and go build it. However, as far as, the starting fleets go, actually there is one more thing I like to do as far as the fleets go in the first turn. On your home system, you have this option for systems, or stations. You can click the little arrow, open up the tab. That screen kind of gets kind of funny. But I have 1 starbase. I'm not entirely certain why it has this in other tiers. It's probably just for convenience. For programming's sake. Because you can only have, for the most part, 1. But, here's the starbase. This is our level 4 naval station. It actually has some weapons. By the way, here's the general health of it. Here's the health totally of it. And here's a button where you can actually scrap it. And sometimes it's worth it to scrap the starting battle station because it's also 150,000 credits that are coming out of your pocket every turn. However, I'm going to retrofit it. These weapons do lots of damage. They're heavy drivers. However, the problem they have is they don't have any range. As you can see, a slight overlay here, which actually I'll go this way, make it a little more clear. That grayed out one, that's the current weapon, which is the missile. The high color is the current weapon I have moused over, which is the heavy driver. You can see the missiles have much more range than the heavy driver. Basically, the heavy driver barely has enough range to reach the planet, much less any of the ships attacking. So I'm going to sit there and switch all 3 of these to missile batteries. It'll cost about 6,000 to retrofit the weapons, and take about 1 turn. Stations, naval stations and other stations with weaponry on them, you can refit at any time. To refit a ship, you need a tech and, a level 3 naval station, so I'm told. But refitting is much cheaper than building and definitely cheaper than prototyping. Now it'll sit there and change those out. However, that seems to be about most of the time I have to keep my files nice and small. So, talked about relocating fleets, sending fleets on missions, and there are a couple of tricks that, you can do. After we're done with the survey mission, you'll get a big pop-up saying, here's what's in the system. Well, at that point, as they're on a return mission, if they have enough endurance, you can actually tell them to go and scout out another one. It's actually kind of useful. You can also do that with strikes. Research, and monies. However, I'm going to talk about those things at a later time, as I'm sitting here at 10 minutes and this file is going to be fairly large. So, hope you enjoyed and have a good day.